Hello, everyone. Welcome to Government Contractor Chat. I am Lindsay Riegelsberger, Director of Operations and Business Development for Streamline Government Contracts. Streamline helps small to mid-sized government contractors who seek experienced, effective support with contract management that reduces risks, increases profits, and enhances reputations. We do this by negotiating teaming agreements, subcontracts, preparing estimates of completion when necessary, and speaking to contracting officers in their own language. We are the proud organizers of Government Contractor Chat, and we thank you for joining us today. I'm going to introduce a speaker now. I'm thrilled to feature one of our very own this session as a guest speaker. It's a rare and exciting change from our usual lineup of GovCon experts. As many of you may know, Karen Long is the president and founder of Streamline Government Contracts, where she brings over 2 decades of experience in federal contracts management. Under her leadership, Streamline has become a trusted partner for small to medium-sized businesses navigating the complexities of government contracting. Her mission is clear: empower companies to manage contracts more efficiently, drive profitability, and build lasting credibility with federal agencies. Karen's deep industry insights and practical strategies have helped countless businesses thrive in the GovCon space, and today she is here to share that expertise with us. Please join me in welcoming our very own Karen Long.
Good afternoon. This is Karen Long, and we're going to talk about service contract reporting. And this is not to be confused with the Service Contract Act or Service Contract Labor Standards. So the background of service contract reports are their annual reports prepared by contractors on federal contracts for certain types of contract awards that meet specific dollar thresholds. And below, you can see where the requirements come from. The purpose is to provide management with data on how contractors are used, help agencies assess the appropriateness of contracting, identify potential duplicative services, evaluate the workforce mix of federal employees versus contractors. So here is the FAR reference for civilian contracts. And we're going to take a closer look to see what is affected and what the thresholds are. You can see that 52.204-14 is a service contract reporting requirement, and 52.204-15 is the service contract reporting requirements for indefinite delivery contracts. So you may see one, you would see the one ending in 15 on the IDIQs or the GWACs, and then the 14 at the task order or delivery order level. And all cost reimbursement, time and materials, and labor hour contracts and orders with an estimated total value above the simplified acquisition threshold. All fixed price service contracts awarded issued according to the following thresholds. So issued in fiscal year 2014 with an estimated total value of 2.5 million or greater, total value of 1 million or greater, or awarded in fiscal year 2016 with 500,000 or greater. And obviously we probably don't see too many contracts remaining from these fiscal years. So here is the DFARS requirement, and I'm going to zoom in on the next slide. The reporting requirements are that it has a total estimated value, including options that exceed 3 million. And it also falls into the following categories: logistics managed services, equipment related services, knowledge-based services, or electronics and communication services. So for civilian agencies funded criteria, it's all cost reimbursement, time and materials, labor hours, and orders above the simplified threshold. Fixed price delivery, definite delivery contracts at or above a certain threshold. And purchase order, delivery, or task orders, blanket purchase agreement calls, and definitive contracts. So for the DoD contract dollar threshold, again, we said that needs to exceed 3 million and fall into the areas below. The service contract reporting is due by October 31st annually for the period of October 1st through September 30th for the previous fiscal year. So in other words, it doesn't matter what your contract year is, you're going to report on the periods October 1st through September 30th if you need to prepare a service contract report. And the information that you're going to need is the total amount invoiced and the prime contractor hours expended. Sam, when you report it, will do the calculations for the FTEs and the total FTEs. You'll also need some tier 1 subcontract information if you have subcontractors, and we'll get to that in a moment. The information that is in SAM gets transferred from the FPDS, Federal Procurement Data System, into SAM, and that's how it tracks which contracts meet and need you to report. So the first slide, you're going to go into SAM and hit Entity Reporting. Then you're going to go to Service Contract Report. Then you're going to click on the 3 dots in SAM. It's hard to see them right now, but the 3 dots there, and you will see a listing of the contracts that require reporting on. Now, if you don't see any contracts and you believe you have some, it may be one of a couple of things. And maybe that you are not the appropriate person identified in SAM, and so therefore you can't view the information. So you need to either be the administrator or have the data entry role. So first you want to make sure you have that. Then again, if you want to check your contract to make sure you're in fact correct, or if you work with us, we do a contract brief that outlines requirements that would show that you need to report on the service contract report. If you still believe that you should be reporting on it and don't see it here, then you should contact your contracting officer. Here you can see you're in your workspace and it has the contract information below. What you're going to do is you're going to put the total amount invoiced. This would include the amount that you invoice for both your company as the prime and also the subcontractor. Then you're going to also record the prime contractor hours expended. And then as mentioned before, Sam will do the calculation for you and will calculate the number of full-time employees based on 2,080 hours. Then you're going to add tier 1 subcontract information if first tier subs. And the information that you will need for that is the subcontractor's unique identity ID, the subcontract number, and the total direct labor hours expended. And this is an example of why it's important to have the appropriate flow down clauses. When you request the information from the subcontractor, you want them to understand and know in advance that you will be requesting this, especially if it happened to be a firm fixed price subcontract. So if the contractor fails to submit the report in a timely manner, it may be reflected negatively in your CPARs. The contracting officer could note that you're late on the reporting. Agencies will review the contractor reported information for reasonableness and consistency with available contract information. So if for some reason they think your hours are either way too high or way too low, then they would contact you by November 15th, let you know that they believe that you may have made an error, that a revision would be needed. So then by November 30th, you would revise the report, revise SAM. You would do this by doing the same thing that we talked about before, except you would go to the workspace, entity reporting, service contract report, and then you go to the 3 dots, and one of the choices would be edit or submit, and that's what you would do. If you need technical assistance, I've had really great experience with the Federal Service Desk. Runs it, does a great job. And here is their website, and also noted is their phone number. So just to recap, because I know that was a lot of information, how does SAM.gov know what contracts are subject to the SCR? So again, this is flowed into SAM by the FPDS Federal Procurement Data System, and that's how the contracts are known. And again, as long as you are one of the known roles, either the administrator or the data entry role, have the data entry role, and you believe either you're missing a contract, then you would notify the contracting officer. And likewise, if you feel like there's a contract in there that doesn't require it, you would also notify the contracting officer who can submit an SCR. It's either the administrator for SAM or the data entry person. The steps for submitting, again, just to run through that, you're in your workspace, then you go to entity reporting, and then service contract reports, and then you go to the three dots, and you would be able to enter the information and or edit the report if you need to do that. This is one of the things that we do at Streamline. Our focus is to reduce risk, increase profits, and enhance reputation. And how we do that is by doing contract briefs in which we believe it's for the whole team and we gather information for the whole team. But as part of it, we have the reporting requirements. So if there's service contract reporting, if there's veterans reporting, whatever the requirement is, we would indicate that as well as the other information on your brief that we designed for you. In addition, we do a monthly executive report, and we have reporting reminders that stay on the monthly report all year round. And then as we move closer to the time, you can see this, it references July, so it's not the right time frame, but we would put, this in comments on the August report and mention that this will be upcoming. So again, we believe in proactively planning and executing contracts. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me. This is my email address and also my phone number. And are there any questions?
I do have a few here we can get started with. Do I need to report on anything if I have an IDIQ that has the SCR FAR clause, but it does not have any task orders yet?
The short answer is no. That FAR clause is telling you that if you have subcontractors, that you need to flow that FAR clause down, and that will apply on any task orders, again, data calls, etc. Again, short answer is no. The second part of it is make sure if you do have that IDIQ, you do get a task order, and you have a subcontractor, that you make sure you have your appropriate flow downs.
Understood. What do I do if the person who needs to report is not assigned to the correct role in SAM?
So there's a way in SAM and that you can request to back to the three dots, I believe it is, to request a new role for a person. So it would need to be the administrator, and they would need to request the role for that person. And again, there's two roles, one being the administrator and one being, I believe it's the data entry role.
I understood. Do I still need to collect the hours from my subcontractor if they have a firm fixed price subcontract?
Yes, and again, this is where it's important to have the flow down clauses. If you haven't flowed that down, you still need to ask them for it. And I would think from their timesheet system, they would be able to provide that to you. But yeah, this is where it's most important, because obviously if you have, let's say, a $5 million contract, the government wants to know like how many hours was expended. The other question that I get on that is the government going to, if it is a set aside contract, is this going to, are they going to be able to penalize or tell if we're doing our limitations of subcontracting? Of course, you should always follow your limitations of subcontracting. And what that means is if it's a set aside, the you or a similar entity, so a woman-owned small business, an 8A, whatever the case may be, needs to do at least 51% of the work. But if you notice, when you enter the information, it's only asking you for hours to report. It's not asking you how much you paid the subcontractor. So that's what's key.
Let's dive into what's coming up next. Our Government Contractor Chat complimentary Zoom webinar series takes place every third Wednesday of each month, excluding August and December, from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Next up, we have Marie Jarabak, and we welcome her back from EOP Consulting. She's the Vice President and Pricing Strategist, longtime friend and colleague of Streamline, who will be presenting on compliance and audit readiness. So thank you for joining us today. We'll see you in October.